Hi everyone, Michelle Lyons here. I just wanted to pop on and do a quick video about the lymphatic system. Now, I don't know about you, but certainly when I was in university, which is 150 years ago, and we were doing all our anatomy and physiology, we really didn't learn too much about the lymphatic system. You know, it was green in all the anatomy illustrations beside the red arterial system and the blue venous system. And we were told that the lymphatic system had something to do with waste removal, it had something to do with your immune system, and that was it, moving on. But honestly, the more I learn about the lymphatic system, the more I'm becoming obsessed by it. It's just so important. It's it's involved with every single system in your body. Your lymphatic system is spread throughout your body. You have between 600 and 1,000 different lymph nodes in your body. And it runs in conjunction with the vascular system, so it helps filter the blood. It certainly has a huge role to play with your immune system, far beyond what we can get into here. So in breast cancer treatment particularly, you know, we are aware that can be really challenging for the lymph nodes, particularly the lymph nodes in the axilla, in the armpit. If there's radiation, if there's surgery, if there's lymph node dissection, all of these things can be very challenging to the health of the lymphatic system, and women who go through breast cancer treatment can develop lymphedema of their upper limb. Now, certainly women who have gynae or pelvic or abdominal cancers, and they can have lymph node disruption, you know, in around the abdominal region or in the inguinal crease, they can develop genital lymphedema or lymphedema of the lower limbs. So lymphedema isn't curable at this moment. There's a couple of different drugs that are in trial. You know, lymph node transfer is still very, very early days yet. So lymphedema can be managed, but ultimately what we want to try and do is avoid it if at all possible. So while we might think of the lymph nodes as being primarily, you know, in the axilla and being compromised by breast cancer treatment, a large proportion of your lymphatic tissue is actually in the center of the body, in and around your digestive system. So when we're talking about the functions of the pelvic floor muscles, you know, we talk about support and sphincteric and stability, but we also talk about how the pelvic floor muscles work with the diaphragm as a giant sump pump in the center of the body. So one of the easiest ways that we have of optimizing our lymphatic system is actually by optimizing the breath. And of course, breast cancer surgery can be really challenging to our breathing mechanism, particularly if there's restricted shoulder movement, if there's restricted diaphragmatic or rib cage or thoracic movement, if there's high stress, you know, we're going to be in that sympathetic overdrive. And certainly for optimal lymphatic function, we want to really steer more towards the parasympathetic, that rest and digest. That's the optimal state for our lymphatic system to work in. So breathing well, deeply, often is a great way to help steer us into a parasympathetic way, first of all, but then actually your deep breathing with the action of the diaphragm and the pelvic floor can actually help act by creating that pressure differential between the thorax and the abdomen. You're vacuuming the lymph back into the center of the body again. Great way to get it moving. Another really important strategy for optimizing lymphatic function after cancer treatment particularly is, you know, it's me, so of course I'm going to be talking about bowel health. Because there's such an amount of lymphatic tissue in the center of our body, in our digestive tract, if we're constipated or sluggish, that can actually have an effect on lymphatic function as well. So abdominal massage for constipation, teaching good toileting technique, eating well, optimizing good absorption, and then of course eliminating what you don't need on a regular basis. Good hydration, absolutely essential. Lots of women think that if they've got swelling, well, what we want to do is reduce fluid intake, and that's going to reduce fluid retention. And similarly, taking diuretics won't help lymphedema either, because you know, that's just going to get rid of retained water, whereas the lymph fluid is very, very protein dense. So diuretics or fluid retention won't help. In fact, fluid restriction may actually make it worse. Brain health. What can we do from a brain health perspective to optimize lymphatic functioning? Well, your brain has its own lymphatic structures, and it's called the glymphatic system. And the glymphatic system is all about cleaning out your brain, usually while you're asleep. So you want to make sure that we're practicing good sleep hygiene so the lymphatic system can do its job, because the brain can be challenged by a lot of cancer treatments. There can be a lot of cognitive dysfunction, memory, word finding, learning new tasks, all of which are going to be very important for us when we're doing some exercise prescription. Movement is key. The lymphatic system, the vessels, they have some smooth muscle in there, but they really do depend on the muscular pumping action of our big global muscles in the body. So the right type of exercise is important. Strength training can be important. Flexibility, range, particularly upper limb, shoulder and thoracic range of motion. And of course, manual therapy. There's a right type of manual therapy, there's a wrong type of manual therapy. But what we want to do is we want to teach women how to do some self-care, manual lymphatic drainage, so that even if they don't have any lymphedema, that they become very familiar with what's normal for them, and they pick up any early warning signs that their lymphatic system is becoming stressed. So what do we want to avoid if someone's got a compromised lymphatic system? The first thing we want to avoid is complacency. If the lymphatic system has been stressed by either surgery or radiation, after breast cancer treatment, for example, then there's a lifelong risk of developing lymphedema. So we want to do all that we can to optimize the lymphatic system and avoid stressors. The two big stressors for your lymphatic system are heat. So saunas, hot pools, things like that, probably not a good idea if you've got a compromised lymphatic system. You never want to push fluid via massage towards compromised lymph nodes. You want to avoid motionless sitting, motionless standing, because again, you're not getting that muscle pump action and fluid can accumulate, and you want to avoid constipation. Manual therapy can be so helpful in preventing lymphedema, in recognizing early signs that the lymphatic system is becoming stressed, so we can take it back from developing full-blown lymphedema. Or if somebody does have lymphedema, using manual therapy skills can really help manage the situation. Manual therapy plus exercise prescription really, I think it's a great recipe for optimizing the health of your lymphatic system. One other thing, when we're exercising, you want to make sure never to wrap the band around your hand like that. Anything that's going to restrict blood flow, so tight clothing, things like that. In terms of the manual therapy that we can do to optimize the lymphatic system, what I like to teach in courses is just some self-care manual lymphatic drainage that is going to just optimize the system, give you an awareness of where the system is at, and give you the power and the knowledge to recognize when the lymphatic system is becoming stressed, so then we can seek some further complete decongestive therapy and refer on if necessary. All that being said, that's a whirlwind tour of things that I think are important about the lymphatic system. I will be covering breast cancer appropriate manual therapy techniques with the appropriate exercise prescription to back up those changes, all under the umbrella of pain science and biopsychosocial approach and lifestyle medicine with Jenny Burrell at our Female Soft Tissue Academy. Our taster day is on February the 2nd, and I'll also be announcing a full 2-day course on breast cancer treatment. Come join us in London on February the 2nd. I'm going to put details below this video here, and if you've got any questions, just tag me in the group. Thanks for listening, and honestly, the lymphatic system, fascinating. Come and join the conversation.